Hey, do you recall some five odd years ago where they wanted us to think that some CC33 hoax viruses are something to be highly skeptical of? Don't modify your body for a vampire or a zombie. But do you recall 5 years ago when we were encouraged to stay at home by the media and the powers that be? They went in a lot with this toilet paper theme because I think the layperson would think, well, if they're stuck at home, they're going to want to, well, stock up on toilet paper and ensure that their heinies are well wiped. I remember seeing this around the neighborhood I was in, the East Coast 5 years ago. Not on the coast, I should say, but in the state that borders the coast. And I rolled my eyes. And I didn't really put the pieces together then, but now I think the reason they did this was a latent health monkey wrench in our system, like a myriad of other things they do. In this case, being that you do not want any orifices clogged if you're a living being. You want to be able to breathe freely. So I don't know about you, but I'd imagine if you're a mammal, you grow hair all around your body. So you're going to have hair down there down your derriere. And if you use toilet paper, then you know as well as me that some of that gets stuck when you're performing your cleaning duties. It's not an adequate. I've never found an adequate piece of toilet paper, regardless of texture, feel, and beyond. It has never come across my path because I don't think it exists. Because what it winds up doing for me is irritating me ever so slightly for the day, because it is an irritation. We should keep our orifices clear. Instead, a baby wipe, as is deemed, but it should just be a wet wipe, or perhaps maybe a bit more svelte and gentle would be obviously the French bidet or something to that note. But I think this was the joke of 2020. Oh, let the goy or whatever, let um, the peasants, the Muggles, go wild searching for toilet paper, while we chuckle when we know deep down it's an inadequate thing for what they need. And this makes me think of those people that get earrings everywhere and how that can't be good for your intonation on life. Perhaps this is not as bad as toilet paper outright clogging such an important part of our system, but because there is clear opening here, and these are mostly adornments, but to pierce your ears all that much, man, I can't. I don't know. It's a strange thing. People put signs on trees, and there's all sorts of bizarre regular day happenings that we don't think about, but are really disgusting when we take a moment to think about them. Like, can you envision a tree with a face somewhat like ours, and like the wooden form, of course, and it's got like a big sign that says "No trespassing" nailed to it? How weird is that? I mean, just put a sign next to it. Why do we have to nail it in a tree? Anyway, this kind of stuff pervades our toxic jungle. And I also think of grills when I think of things that block orifices. You could argue any tattoos, filling up your skin orifices with all that ink. And yeah, keep your orifices clear. That's important. Really important. So this isn't really related to all of that talk, but it came to my attention that a certain RFTK Ohio Hans Wormhat the guy that opened up a lot of all this conspiratorial thought for me. I was already in that camp, but really broadened the thoughts in a way that I can't really equate with any other person, just because of the big elephant in the room that is T-Land, whatever you want to call it, and all the mayhem that's ensued because of me knowing that, and how it still plays out in every way, or in some way, seemingly every day. It's where we live. It's the big secret. It's strange, and there's a lot to not like about it, and a lot to analyze once your perspective is attuned to the idea, the reality that there are liars who chuckle around you, and they're not your friend, and what they do doesn't equate to a good, healthy lifestyle, especially if they're lying near always, if not always. It's sick. But one thing that I always think about with RFTK Ohio Hans, and I've been meaning to bring into video form, is his continuous push for time moving faster, and that being a biblical reality. And I think it's something that, if it is indeed true, then it's not worth talking about, because it's something you can't control. Maybe you can make the acknowledgement that certain processes or supernatural phenomena or things you're experiencing feel faster, but I also think you have to think of that in relation to you as a 5-year-old, you as a 10, you as a so forth, and where you were, where you lived, and how I honestly don't believe in what he's saying here. I think time is amorphous always, like this Dali painting. It's my personal perspective. I think it depends on what you're doing, the day, so many factors, but time changes. And it's like this is almost like the feeble attempt for clocks to really understand. Life is amazing and so mystical and mysterious, and we are such enormous yet tiny creatures when you think of the great experience that is life. And what are we here to do? Good, I suppose. I do think the whole lamentation of Jesus is a satanic agenda. The idea of the constant throwing of the cross in our faces in any format, and the utterance of "He died for your sins," and I don't like that. I don't think that teaches people to behave well, because they're like, "Oh well, Jesus got it for me. Jesus died for my sins, so he's handled my bullshit, so now I can behave however I want to." That's a do as thou wilt for me. And what I think about when I think of Jesus is just the words purely for what they can do to the spirit. They're very nice, very good. I could stand to read them more often. I think I need them in my life more, and there's a lot of good out there if you're willing to dig for it. I hope you're well, and yeah, there's a lot on the mind. This has been an interesting journey that we're on, and there's a lot of optimistic, wild things that are going on that aren't seemingly so sterile and lame as is often the case in this peculiar world. So I'll talk to you soon, and probably have a video with my partner soon as well. All right, y'all have a wonderful journey.